Egypt's parliament has defied a court ruling and approved a controversial deal to transfer control of 2 islands to Saudi Arabia. Egyptian leaders say the islands of Sanafir and Tiran were placed under Egypt's protection in the 1950s, but were always Saudi territory. Critics say control is being given away in exchange for billions of dollars.
What's happening today is a disgraceful agreement. Tiran and Sanafir will go under the control of Israel through Saudi Arabia. It's not going to the Saudis, it's going to Israel due to a foreign decision.
So why are these 2 tiny islands such an important part of Egyptian history? Well, Sanafir and Tiran occupy a key strategic location right there at the mouth of the Gulf of Aqaba. They effectively control Israel's only access to the Red Sea from the port of Eilat. Now, Egypt used the islands to block that access back in June 1967, an act that directly led to war with Israel. Egypt and Israel fought a battle for the islands during that war. Israel won, but handed them back to Egypt in 1979. Let's speak to Amr Khalifa, who's a journalist and columnist for Middle East Eye and joins us live now from New York. Welcome to the program. What do you make of this move, and how do you think it's been received by the Egyptian public?
Good to be on with you, Nick. However, first, let me offer condolences to all free Egyptians and congratulations to Mr. el-Sisi for receiving a gold medal in treachery. What has occurred today is arguably a second Nakba, which is the second after the 1967 setback of the loss to Israel. What's occurred is very serious. It has caused heartache to millions, and it is significant in that it shows short-sightedness on a strategic level by Mr. el-Sisi, who strongly believes that his alliance with the Saudis will help to further entrench him, while in fact it may very well lead to tightening the noose around his political neck.
But he would argue that he's merely handing the islands back because they were Saudis in the first place.
Indeed, that argument has been made consistently. However, there have been tens of geographic experts, as well as historical experts and political experts, and experts on international law, as well as law of the seas, that have laid out the argument for Egyptian possession of the land. That's on as far as the islands are concerned. But if we were to look at the dynamics pushing this forth, we look at Sisi, who recognizes fully well that he's in deep, dire straits as far as the economic situation is concerned. Egypt has registered exploding inflation since the devaluation, which occurred back in November of 2016. It began at 14%, and it has now risen to 34%. That continuing rise has deeply troubled the IMF. And Sisi sees Saudi assistance as a must for survival. However, that does not keep in mind the fact that it has very serious domestic implications. There was a demonstration that occurred yesterday with over 100 journalists at the Guild, 7 arrests, among them Amr Khalifa, well-known leftist activist. And today, as I speak to you, there is a demonstration marching from Saha Square to Tahrir Square. When you roil the waters, you know not what will come of it. So he's taking a huge risk.
How useful are these islands to the Saudis?
To be perfectly frank, their strategic worth to the Saudis is nearly nil. If push comes to shove and a war breaks out in the region, it's fairly likely that Egypt will continue to administer it, and that has been the verbiage in government press within the past 48 to 72 hours. The lack of awareness of the level of instability on Egyptian streets indicates that Sisi has continued to believe his own lies and the lies of his own regime. There is a radical split within Egyptian society, and it's exemplified by, for example, a Basira poll, which showed, Basira, by the way, is a pro-Sisi poll, And it showed a 47% refusal of the surrender of the islands in comparison to 11% support. That's more than a 4-to-1 ratio. And it's in all likelihood, those numbers are actually deflated because from all indications, those numbers are likely strongly above 90% refusal.
Okay, Amr, we have to leave it there. Appreciate your perspective on this. Thanks very much indeed, Amr Khalifa.